So this is my official entry into the Scoutcrafter Make a Screwdriver Challenge. Now, regular viewers will know it took me quite a few videos, and so I thought, well, I'd just do the one final video about it. Yeah, and sort of explain it to you. It is a bolt, and this is can you recognize it? It's a box spanner. Yeah, and luckily for us, it was a box spanner with a broad arrow on it. I hadn't seen a broad arrow on a box spanner before, and this seemed to sort of fit my hand. So this came first, yeah, the handle. That's what sort of, you know, when you get a challenge, you're going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? So the thinking process began because I just happened to pick it up and hold it in my hand, and I thought, ooh, that's the one. That's the one. So how am I going to turn that into a handle? And originally I was going to stuff the middle with wood and drill a hole. Anyway, I looked around for a bolt, and I had this. Can you see this is a big long bolt? The bolt head was up here, and thread was here, and it was a coach bolt, so it had a half rounded head on it. So I thought, oh, that'd be nice. But then of course all the thread was down here, wasn't it? And the head of the bolt was up here. So I thought, well, the first job to do is to swap it over. And so I cut the head of the bolt here, half and half, cut it, left a bit, and then went half and half. So I welded what was the top of the coach bolt head here onto the end of the bolt up here, and you can just about see where we mangled and butchered it and welded that together. Look up there. So I changed the head, look, you see it, you can just about see it. So then you can imagine now, this head was sticking through here. I'd got rid of the thread out of the way, disappeared that into the handle. Then it was just simply a case of welding this on. But if you look very closely, look, you can see where there should have been a little trench in there, and I should have welded that in there. Somebody has suggested now, just cut a groove in there halfway around and weld it and grind it back and do again, and then come around here and cut this a groove again and weld it and put it back. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm not that brave on, the trouble is when you're cleaning and grinding it off, you don't know how thin you're making it. And this sort of indentation here, I wasn't really confident to how deep, how much material was I having to take off before I was going to weaken it. It's the same there really. I should really, this would come up lovely. This would polish up fantastic, wouldn't it? But then how thin would it leave it by the time you'd got all the nicks and all that? So we've left that alone, cleaned that. This was, remember, this was rusty. And then we, now you can hardly see it, but this split, where did it split now? You can just about see where the split was. There we are. We had a split that came around here. I thought to myself, well, I'll hammer a nut in there. That would centralize this. I'll be fine. But the nut was a little bit too big, and there was a slight crack in it anyway, and we burst it open, didn't we? So then I had to reduce the size of the bolt that we put in here. And I've had to fix and make that disappear a little bit there, maybe. And then, of course, we took several attempts at welding and grinding back, welding and grinding back. That's one big nut there, welded and made as one. So I might come back to this and try and make it more perfect. You could do a lot more with it. You could shine it up lovely, couldn't you? And you could tidy all this up. Yeah, and you could get rid of that crack. And anyway, so that's how we did the handle, and that was there. And then of course we warmed it up as warm as we could get it at. Because of the size of it, I knew I had to flare this out somehow. So we warmed it up to pink. We were only using plumbers' flamethrowers, and it was outside, so yeah, we warmed it as best we could, and then we hit it with a hammer. And actually, it turned out not bad. We were hitting it, warming it, hitting it, turning it round, warming it, hitting it, warming it, hitting it, and it started to produce this width, which I wanted. It needed the width on it, didn't it? And that's how we did that. And again, I'm sure this will polish up lovely. All I've got to do now is find a screw big enough for that to drive. It really needs another edge to it, doesn't it, really? But, you know, we've produced a screwdriver and we've put a handle on it and we've come up with an idea, and that's my official entry and my official story. And if you really want to see the nitty-gritty of me doing it, you'll have to dig through a few films and try and find it. Yeah, so, and John, thank you very much for getting us out there. Over here in the UK, the weather hasn't been all that good. Didn't encourage us to fall back in love with our sheds. Because that's the thing is, you don't go in there and you need a little bit of encouragement to get out there to start messing in your shed again, don't you? So, yeah. What a fantastic challenge this has been. Got the old brain box working. But I might yet improve it, or attempt to improve it, because you know, you go to do one job and it creates another. Well, in my world, you go to do one job and it creates another job, doesn't it? Or maybe another two jobs. So yeah, thank you, Scoutcrafter, for giving us this fantastic challenge.